Thank you all for joining the live. I'm going to be teaching you how to build a resource directory on Softr and Airtable. And I know it's the weekend. The workshop is an hour long, but I'm going to try and wrap it up as soon as possible. Um, but yeah, thanks again for joining on a weekend. I don't know what time it is for you guys, but it's 10 a.m. here in Canada, and it's snowing outside, so it's a perfect day to stay indoors today. So, with that said, a few things quickly before we move ahead. There would be live chat here, but I won't be able to see it because I'll be sharing my screen and showing you guys how to build the website and the resource directory. So, just drop everything in the chat if you have questions or anything. I will take a look at it after I end the stream. But if you have any questions or feedback about the workshop, you're welcome to do. You're welcome to drop me an email. I added my email and details in the description of this live, so you can find everything there. But apart from that, I hope you guys take something away from today, and I hope you guys launch your monthly project. So I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. Okay, so I have two tabs open here. One is Softr and another is Airtable. So I added both the links in the description of the live, so you can find them there. But you just search Softr, Softr, and then you go to this site. This is how your homepage would look right after you enter. And then you go to Airtable, which is kind of like it's an advanced version of an Excel, you could say. So we'll be using these two sites, and we're going to start with a template. So when you open Softr, this is what you'll see. And for today, since we only have an hour, we're going to start with the template because it's going to take a lot of time to start from scratch. So let's click on Start with a Template. And here you're going to want to go to Directories, and you can see a bunch of them. Like you could make a website on anything, but today we're going to be using the resource directory, which is what we'll be building. So this is how it'll look, a bunch of screenshots. So we're going to click on Use Template. And where is your data stored? So when you click on Airtable and you log in, it asks you to link your Airtable. And that's what I did. So since I linked mine, it's here. But I'm going to connect later. I'll show you how to connect it inside the dashboard. So connect later. Now, this is what you'll see. So this is going to be a quick overview of how your website would look like. And this is the most important part. This is where we'll display all our resources along with the categories. People can filter them out or search them by name or description. So this is going to be like your heart and soul of the website. This is the reason why we're building the site. And then we have extra sections such as add a resource. If anyone visits your site and they have, let's say, a design resource to add, they just submit the form, and then it will be populated in your Airtable, and then you get to choose whether you want to show it on the site or not. Because what if someone just sends you a bunch of spam links? You don't want to post that on the site, so you have control over it. Only when you approve it, it gets populated on the site. So that is a good thing. And next, let's take a look at the pages real quick. So we have the home page. So this is the home page. If you click here, this will show you all your pages. So right now we have home, add resource, and item detail. So add resource is where anyone who visits the site and they click on add resource, meaning they want to submit their resource for you to display on your site. So they'll be taken to this page where they just fill out a form, the name, image can be a logo or the screenshot of the website, a short description, the link, and the category. So this is where they fill out the form. And next we have the item detail page. So what this is in home, let's say you click on any one of these resources. Let's say you click on No Code Founders. It takes you to the item detail page where it tells you more about the No Code Founders page. So just a little description, the pricing, integrations. So you can add any information you want, and then you can also link the website. But for now, we're going to not be adding item detail pages because it's going to make the website very lengthy. It's going to be a huge thing to add, and it's going to take a lot of time because you need to generate content for all of the resources, and it's just not practical to do it under an hour. So we're just gonna skip that. So I'm gonna quickly go ahead and delete this. Now instead of just 2 pages, I'm just gonna add one more, and we're gonna call it contact. So if anyone visits the site and let's say they want to collaborate with you, they want to feature something on your website, they can contact you, and then you guys can do whatever you want from there. So pages, contact us. This is going to be our contact page. I'm just gonna drag it below. So let's go to home again and let's start. So this is the header. This is where you navigate to different sections of the site, different pages of your website. And then when you click on any one of the blocks, all of the blocks are editable. So let's say you click on the header. On the side, you can see the content and the styles associated with the header. So for now, I'm gonna go to content, and here it's asking you the layout. So you can choose to have a layout at the top and the side, or anything. So I'm just gonna go with top for now. And this is the logo. Right now I'm not going to change the logo because I haven't designed it, but you guys can feel free to change your logo, and you can change like how you want the logo to be. Do you want it to be a square or horizontal? That's that. And then we have the links here. The links are essentially what takes you to other parts, other pages of the site. So we have the explore, no code, and contact us, but I'm going to change them. So this is going to be, instead of explore no code, I'm going to change it to home, and you see how it instantly changed there. Next, open action. The action will be open page, and the page will be home. So that's where they should go. And then we're going to have them open in the same tab, because we don't want to make them open in a bunch of different tabs if they're staying on the same site. That doesn't make sense. So that's home. And for contact us, I'm just going to make it contact, and this would be open page, and the page would be contact. It's going to be in the same tab again. So these things you could choose to show the icons. They can see how for home there's a house icon, and for like contact there's a link icon. I want it to be very minimal. So the header is done. Next, button. So we have the button here, and then we have the add resource button. So yeah, this could be add resource, and this will open a page, and the page is the add resource page, and it's going to be in the same tab again. Perfect. Okay, now we're done with the header, but we're going to customize the styling a bit. So let's say this is fun, so I'm going to make it a little round maybe. Yeah, maybe this is good. And then on mobile, so you can also change stuff for mobile. So if you go to like the header and stuff, I'm just going to match the desktop and mobile styling to be the same. But for now, I'm just going to do edits on the desktop version, but you can choose to customize however you want for the mobile version. So that's that. That's the navigation bar. We're done with that. Now let's quickly go ahead and edit the header. Now when you click on this block, it shows you all the content that's here. So for the title, I'm just gonna be like the only site. Let's say I'm making a design resources site. So this site would contain a bunch of design resources, portfolio sites, logo creation tools, AI tools, newsletters, all kinds of stuff, but everything design related. So that's what the resource directory would be. You would have resources of the particular niche that you pick. So the heading, I'm going to change it to the only site you need for design resources. Okay, that looks good. And the subtitle is discover resources below or submit your own. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Now this is good. Background image, I'm gonna keep it white. We're gonna make a very minimal theme, like white and blue. So I'm not gonna add any images, any other colors except for white and blue. And then we have the button here. So the button text would be, let's change it to this cover. And we don't want it to scroll. Yeah, we want it to scroll, my bad. So this, you can choose whether you want it to scroll or not. So it scrolls to home list 2. So this home list 2 is basically this. So let's say you rename this to resources. Okay, So now when you click on this, when you go to here, we want it to scroll to home and then the section resources. So that's where it's going to scroll when you click on it. And no, we don't want it to open in a new tab, so we're going to leave it there. Now let's edit the styling of all this. So the first title, you see all these paintbrush icons here. That's for editing all the content. So you can choose to edit different elements of the site. The first thing we're going to edit is the text color. Let's choose this one for the text color, and the font. I'm going to use Public Sans, but you could use whatever you want. Um, Maybe semi-bold. Yeah, I think that's good enough. But keep in mind, I'm not gonna try and spend time making it look pretty. I want to show you all the features of Softr and what you can do with it. So you're open to customizing it however you'd like. And the padding here is only for this particular element, which is the heading. So if you change the padding at the top, it moves below, but I'm going to keep it that way. And if you change it at the bottom, all this would shift below. So for now, we're going to keep it that way. And let's go to subtitle. So for subtitle, I'm just going to use Inter. It's the first one I could find. Let it be normal. And the text color, again, I'm not using any other colors. I'm just going to use the same two colors. But it's recommended to always keep the subtitle a shade lighter than the heading. But for now, I'm just going to keep it very simple just for you to understand. And I'm not going to change any of this. That's done. Now let's go to the button. The button text color can be that. The font family, I'm just gonna make it Public Sans again, or let me change it to Inter. Okay. And padding left and right is essentially the padding of the button. So you see it's a bit wide. I'm gonna reduce it a little bit on the left and right. And the top and bottom padding seem fine. The background color, this is, let me change it. Let me change it to this blue. Okay. So we have this blue. I'm just going to copy it. So this is the blue I'll be using throughout the site. And the roundness, of course, we want it to match what we have on the site. So it's going to be that. And that's done. Just one more quick thing. Title, I'm going to decrease the font size because I want it on the same. Okay. Now, you see how we changed this, but then everything else seems purple. Now, I'm going to show you a quick way to change the styling of the entire site. Let's say you go to this section again, and then you want to change the font of this section. Again, it would show you that there's a default selected, but it's not Public Sans like we wanted to. So for that, we're just going to go to Theme and update it here. So these are the default values that it shows throughout the site. So if I just update here, everything else will get updated. So for headings, we use Public Sans. And for the font, it's Inter, and it's going to be normal. And the text, again, it's this color. And then the accent color, instead of purple, we want it to be this blue. And save. You see how that immediately changed? So that it's going to update everywhere. That's how it's going to be. Unless you updated it separately in a section, that's not going to change. But if you chose to use like a default value, that's where it's going to change everywhere. Now the header is done, navbar is done, the hero is done, sorry. And let's delete this section because I don't want to have a newsletter at this stage. So I'm going to quickly delete that. Now let's edit this particular section. Now this is the most important part because this is where you link Airtable and everything. So for this, there's already a template. Software already made a template that is linked to Airtable. So anytime you need to change the website, you don't have to change the content here. You just change a table in Airtable and then it gets updated here. And I'll show you how to do it in a bit. So all you have to do is copy template data. It's going to be my Airtable, and I'm just going to click copy. It's going to be in my first workspace. And this is the template that they gave me. So everything you see here is on the site. Now that it's linked, it has to refresh. Okay. So here, let's say we take a look at no code founders. Here's no code founders. Let me change it to design resources. And then join for design resources and discover new ones. Okay, so I updated it here. So now this should change. Let me quickly refresh it. Okay, I know what's wrong. Okay, if you click on here, it asks you what base you want to connect it to. Just refresh it. And let me change the name of it to Design Resources Workshop. Now I'm going to refresh it again. Select the base. The table would be resources. So the table name is essentially this, and this contains everything. So you see how it updated here. So if it doesn't update, all you need to do is go here, kind of deselect the base again, and then refresh it and select it again, and it'll populate automatically. And the view would be a grid view. Approved view is basically in this template, there's this column called approved. So let's say someone makes a submission, and then you it only populates on the site when you approve it. If you don't approve it, then all of these aren't going to show up on the site. So this is one way to do it. But for now, we want everything to show up, so we're just going to use grid view. And yeah, this is how it looks and how it connects to the data. Here, if you see their name, description, category. So the categories are stuff that you can add. You can choose from whatever there already are, or you can choose to add your own. The image is basically just a screenshot or an image of the logo of the site. The link would be the website link. You don't need the updated. If you want, you can choose to show it here, but I'm not gonna show it. It just makes the website look clunky. And then we also have the long description if they want to give a long description. And we have the approved column. So let's change the content here. So here the title and subtitle is essentially the title and subtitle for this section. So if I toggle it on, you can see the title and subtitle here, but we don't want it because this is not the hero. We already know that these are resources. And the item fields, these are all the fields that are shown in the card. So let's say this is the card. So there's an image here, and then there's a name, there's a description, and then there's some text. So the image is mapped to image. So what essentially it's asking you is map to image. So this is the image that they're talking about. So whatever you have here, you can map it to different parts of the content here. So this seems fine. The height, I'm going to reduce a bit. And the border color, um, I don't want a border. I'm going to remove it. And let's just make it a bit rounded. Okay, perfect. And then the name, the text color again, make it blue. And the font family, since we already changed it here, we don't have to change it everywhere. So because we changed our default font to Inter, it's going to be selected everywhere. Next, we have the padding at the top, at the bottom, and the left and the right. So for now, we're going to reduce the padding at the top. Yeah, I think that looks fine. And the left padding, okay, that's too much. We're going to move everything to the side. Okay, and the alignment, you can change it to left aligned, right aligned, or center aligned. For now, I'm leaving it that way. Let's go to the description. The text can be this, one of the two colors that I've been using. The font weight, everything is fine. The bottom padding, I don't want that much white space at the bottom, so I'm just gonna reduce it. And the padding left and right would be the same as the heading. Next, we have the text, which is the long text, but I'm not going to be using that. So we're not going to be using that. We can just hide it. But if you want, you could add other fields as well, like other parts of the content as well, such as the link. But instead of adding the link here, we're going to make this whole card clickable and take us to the link. So that's going to be much cleaner. And if you want, you can choose to display the time, like the updated time. But no, we're not going to do that. So that's that. And then item on click. So what it's asking you is what should where should you take the user when they click on an item? So we want them to open an external URL, and that URL would be the link. So let's say they click on design resources, they're going to go to this link. They click on this one, they're going to be taken to this link. So it's mapped to the link. So whatever you choose, they click on, they're going to take them to the respective links. And we want them to open a new tab because even if they want to discover resources, we still want them to kind of remember that went to the new site from our site, and it's good to keep your tab open always so that they don't leave your site. Next, we have the search bar. Here, let me just change the text. We're going to say it's search by name. And then they can choose to search by description or the name or any other ones you want. Like they could even see search by category if they want. But no, I'm not gonna have it for now. That's fine. And then the categories. So these are the categories that are there. Okay, so this category is basically all these that were in here in Airtable. So these are all the categories that there are. And this is where you can customize them, change the font and the color, like I said before. And then you could also choose to add a filter. So if you want a secondary filter, you could add it right below it. But for now, we're not gonna need it. So I'm just gonna delete it. Okay. Next, what else are we gonna change? Okay, label. So here you see how there's see more. So what it does is it loads certain amount of resources every time you click on see more. So I'm just gonna customize it. Text color can be the blue, and the border color can be the blue again. It's gonna be a bit more rounded. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, we just changed it, and I'm gonna change it to view more. Okay, I think that's good enough. Here, let me quickly change the text color to this one, which is the top heading. Okay, let me just change it to 1A. Okay. And then let's customize the options. So the options are basically the tags. So the text color is blue again. The border color would be blue again. And here they even ask you hover. So on hover, I'm going to make it blue. Sorry, background color would stay white, but the border color would be blue, but we're going to make it 2 pixels. So when they select it, it's going to look much thicker. And it's not the best looking, but for now, that's what I have. You can choose to customize it later. So this section is essentially done. Just a few things, like you can adjust the padding at the top, at the bottom, and all that. And then we have the item fields, which is this one. So let's customize the entire card. The border color, I'm going to change it to blue. And 1 pixel. See how there's an outline here? This is for the entire card. Or let's change it to 2 pixels. And the roundness can be the same as everything else we're using on the site. Shadow, I don't want a shadow on the card, but when they hover on it, I'm okay with the shadow. And you see here, there's like this gap between the image and the border. I'm gonna fix that. Just make it less round and match it, and there you go. Perfect. So now this section is done. So what you'll essentially do after this workshop is just update your resources here with whatever you're building for. Let's say you're making writer resources. You add like Grammarly, you add Hemingway editor, and all those resources here, along with the category, description, link, and the image can be, you just taking a screenshot of the site or a logo of the website. So that's done. Now let's change this section. This is like a CTA section where you take them to another page, which is the add a resource page. So I'm just going to submit. Okay. Want to add your resource. let's keep it the same. Subtitle, you can choose to add a subtitle, but for now, I'm just going to skip it. It's not necessary. The title can be white, and the styles. So the background color, I'm going to make it blue. And now we have the button here. So the button, you can rename it to whatever you want. For now, I'm going to keep it that way. It looks fine. The text color, again, it can be blue. And the roundness. Yeah. Okay, that seems good. So for now, we're almost done with the home page. We're gonna go to the bottom, which is the footer. Here you can choose to add your logo. For now, I'm not gonna change it. I'm keeping whatever they gave, but you can change it. And this is the alt text. It's a good accessibility practice. So you should add a descriptive text of what your logo has. The links can have links to the contact page. So we're gonna want it to open a page, and the page is contact. Next, we have the explore link. Let's just call it home. And the action can be open page, home. Now we're going to add another link, add a resource, open page, add resource page. And we don't want it to open in a new tab. It could stay the same. And I'm just going to reorder them. Home can be before it, and then add resource before contact. Perfect. And the link, you can choose to customize how they look. That's done. And you can also change the footer. So let's say 2025 design resources, all rights reserved. You can choose to add whatever you want. You could also add social media links, but for now I'm just going to skip it because this is an imaginary project. So the homepage is done. It didn't take us long, mostly because all of the main stuff that you have to do is just updating Airtable with all the data that you have about the resources, and then just seeing it update live here. Now let's quickly go to add resource page. Now this we're going to need to change because this is an old template. I've used it years ago. So this is deprecated, I believe. So let's add a new version. If you click on this block, it tells you it's no longer supported. So add a new version. And here we're gonna just go to forms and click on add a new form, the centered form. And here we're gonna edit the data source. So the data source would be, where do you want the resources to go to? So you can choose to have it in the same one, which is the design resources one. So anytime someone submits the form, they're added here, but only when you approve, it's shown on the website. So make sure you change it to approve view if you want only approved ones to show up. If not, anyone can add anything they want and it will all show up. So we don't want that. For now, let's just have it in the same one. But let's say you do want to not get them mixed up and you want a separate form and a separate table for all the data that you get, like all the submissions. So I'm just going to click create, start from scratch, and design submissions. Okay, design submissions. And what we're going to ask the user is the name, which is going to be a single line text. We're going to add them for short description. It can be long text. Next, image. This would be an attachment. And then we have category. This can be multi-select because their product can have multiple categories. And the categories, we're going to name it something like communities, logo tools, portfolio sites, or other. For now, these are the 4 options. Save. Okay. And what else do we need? We need the link, which is going to be a URL. Okay. And the image, yeah, this is an attachment. Perfect. So here, we're going to refresh it quickly. And we're going to change it to, it's going to be design resources workshop, but the table is the design submissions workshop. So design submissions workshop. This is what we'll need to link it to. And now let's go to the questions. The questions are basically what they ask in the form. The heading, we're going to remove it. I don't want a heading inside the form. So remove, yes, delete it. Text, delete it. Name. So name, we're going to want to map the name to name. So let's say when someone enters a name here, by mapping it, everyone who enters the name, their details would be populated here, like the details of the name. And the if you add a description here, it'll be populated in this column. So that's what mapping is. All it does is it links the form to the fields inside the table. So we have the name, and it's required. Okay, I'm gonna change it to, yeah, I'm gonna change it to name of the resource because people might get confused. Next, we don't want an email, but I'm just gonna change it to short description. Enter a short description. So this is going to be the placeholder that comes inside of it, and I'm gonna map it to the short description. Okay, next. This is going to be long text. Yeah. So you can change the what type of field it is here. Next, we have category. So I'm going to map it to category, and this is going to be quick select because quick select lets you select multiple ones, whereas drop down only lets you select one. So quick select, and then sync with the source. You can choose to sync it with whatever categories you have, or for now you can just leave it. And so these are the 4 ones that we have: communities, logo tools, other, and resources, which are here, which are what we entered here, all these. So we're going to keep it that way, and allow multiple selections. We want them to be able to submit it under different categories. So that's done. Okay, select your category. Change the label. Going to delete the options. We already have it. Date and time, we don't need it. And then we just need two more things: the image and the link. So the image will be mapped to the image. Upload your logo or a picture of your website if you're collecting a screenshot of the website. And the link would be enter the link to your resource. Let's just keep it short. Link to your resource. Perfect. Now this form is essentially done. Now every time people they want to make a submission, every time they submit something, it's populated in this Airtable. If not, you can always choose to have it populated in the same one and just approve them. But for now, I showed you how to create a new one. So if you don't want all the clutter, you can just have it in a separate Airtable. So now that's done. We're going to delete this one because we no longer need it. Now let's customize this one. The questions are done. The logic is done. Styles. So the bottom border, yeah, there's nothing, 0. We don't need any. The container, let's make it rounded. And the border can be blue. Okay. It's going to be 2 pixels. The fields, again, it's the same. Background color, I don't want a background color, but I'm going to give it a border just so you know where the fields are. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Roundness, and then the label color. Again, I'm only using 2 colors, but please use good colors on your website. And then the display fields, it's just basically asking you if you want like any headings or dividers in between. And the buttons, so let's make it rounded. Yeah, I think that's good enough. So the form looks okay. It looks good enough. Now there can't just be like a simple form here. We're gonna want to add a heading or something, telling them okay what this is for. So click on add a block, So when you click add block, it shows you all the blocks you can add in Softr. But for now, I'm just gonna search for hero, which is going to be the hero section, and this seems fine. So in this, I'm gonna remove the image. All I want is a heading and the subheading. And I'm also going to remove the button. So delete. And now we want to make all of this come in the middle. So what we need to do is, it still think that there's an image on the right side, but there isn't. But we're gonna pretend like there's an image and try and move it to the top. That way everything comes in the middle, like the heading and the subheading. There you have it. Submit your resource. Submit your resource using the form below. And discover new ones on the homepage. You can add anything you want. For now, I'm just going to keep it that way. Title, can make it bigger. And then the subtitle, just a little bigger. Yeah, I think that's good. And the styles. So I don't want that much padding because we want them to think that this and these are together. So I'm just gonna remove the bottom padding completely. See how it shifted up. We want them to think that it belongs to the same section. And the top, you can decrease it a bit. And now on the form here, you can also choose to edit the padding, which I can't seem to find for some reason. Um, okay, let's see. Okay, padding bottom. Yeah, because they didn't have the little draggable thingy, I got confused. So let's just change. See, so here's where you change the padding on the site. Um, I think I'm gonna remove it entirely. I don't think it looks that bad. Yeah, I think I'm gonna remove the padding entirely. So this is that. This page is essentially done. So right now we have the home page. It's all blue and black. Next, we have the add resource page. Again, blue and black follows the theme. Next, let's just change the contact page. We have about 20 minutes left, and I think it's good enough. We have enough time. Now, contact page is going to be blank because I added a new page. Now, in the block, I'm just going to add another form. So it's going, or you can, let me see if they have a contact block. Nope, they don't. Okay, so we're just going to add a form. Or if you want, you could have like side text and a form. So instead of having a title at the top and then a form below, I'm just going to use this one for now. And again, connect to a data source. I would create a new table and link it to that. But for now, I'm just going to link it to Design Resources Workshop. But please don't do that when you're building your site because you'll get confused. You won't have values to map them to. But honestly, let me just make a new one. Start from scratch. Contact submissions workshop. So we're gonna ask them their name, their email, because if you want to respond to what they ask, you need to ask them the email. If you want, you can ask them a phone number, but for now, we just need name, email, and message. This is going to be long text. Save, and this one I'm going to delete entirely. We don't need it. So these are the three form fields that we'll be having. Just go here, refresh, and we have the contact submissions workshop. Now we go to the questions again. The name is going to be mapped to the name. Text would be mapped to message. And we're going to delete phone number. And I'm going to add a new one and make it email. Yep. Your email. Perfect. So all of these are required because you can't have a contact form without any of these. Okay, so the ending. This is basically asking you, what are you going to show when they submit a form? So you can choose to show a success message or show an entirely different screen. But for now, a message is fine. Thank you for submitting the form. We'll get back to you in a few hours. And after it shows you that, it's just going to refresh the form so that you can make another submission. The logic is basically where it goes to, which is the ending, which is this one. So we don't need to mess with that. Okay, the title. So the title would be Contact Us, share feedback, or get in touch. That's going to be the subtitle. And again, we can choose to customize it. I'm going to keep it the same color again. And it's asking you like what size you want it. I'm just going to make it the largest size. And the styles again. So we have the bottom border, we don't want anything. The container, 2 pixels, but we're gonna make it blue. Yep. We're gonna make it round. Perfect. Maybe no shadow. And the fields. So the background color would be white again, like before, but we would have a border around the fields. And the label, perfect. I'd say you might have got the hang of it, but yeah, because we're at it, I'm just gonna finish it up. And the padding at the top and bottom, uh, okay, feels, everything looks fine now. Yeah, I think this is it. This looks fine. And now you can choose to publish it. So if you publish it, okay, because I made like 3 websites to show you guys how to make it. I don't have any more, but if you choose to publish it, it asks you for a custom link. So you can choose like, designresources.softr.io. You can choose the custom link that appears before softr.io. So do that. If not, since this is a free version, the best thing you could also do if you're really serious about it is just go to settings and choose domain. So you could add your custom domain. Usually I buy my domains on Hostinger. It's like it's very cheap on Hostinger for me, for the domains that I look for. So if I could just buy a domain there, I could add it here and connect it. So now this one would not have designresources.software.io. It would just be designresources.com, and you could add whatever your domain you want. So that's one way. I'm just going to show you how it looks when you publish it. So this is the home page. Since we have this link, let's click on that one. It takes you to the website, like I mentioned. Submit a resource, it should take you to the resource page. Contact, it should take you to the contact page, and there you have it. You could also choose to add authentication if you want user authentication, but that's completely different and it's more advanced. So I don't have enough time to cover it in this workshop, but you're free to explore doing that. But that was it for the workshop. I just have a few ideas to share with what you can do with the website. So if you're really serious about making a resource directory, you could find certain niches, like having an open source software tool website. There's not a lot of resource directories that have a list of all the open source tools. So you could build one something like that. And you could also try and monetize it. Let's say you want to make money out of the site. You could sell like ad space on top of the website, like add a banner section and get sponsors to feature their products on your website. Or you could alternatively add a feature section on your website. So the feature section would have links to the resources of the companies that are paying you to put them on the feature section. So those are 2 ways you could try and monetize your website. If not, it's also a great way. You could also offer like backlinks to other websites. It's a great way to boost SEO and all sorts of stuff. But for today, this is it. Thank you all again for joining on a Sunday. I don't know what time it is, but it's 11 a.m. by the time I'm ending this call. So have a good rest of the weekend, and I hope to see you again in next month's workshop.